We got Damir Ismagulov and Rafael Alves in the lightweight division. The first fight on the fight card. Damir Ismagulov, 22 wins and 1 loss. Incredible record right there. That is like Khabib and Nurmagomedov record right there, with only 1 loss way at the beginning of his career. I believe he's on like an 18 or 16 fight win streak, 17 fight win streak, only 30 years old, in the prime of his MMA career. Super long, super lengthy. I mean, 74 inch reach, 5'9" inches tall, in the prime of his MMA career, having the reach advantage, having the height advantage as well. Already beating some really good prospects inside of the UFC, like Thiago Moises, like Joe Alvarez, and like Alex Gorgees. I mean, the man's just an absolute beast. He deserves a top 15, a top 20, whatever the case may be. I mean, the man's he's so good all around. I mean, in the striking, in the grappling, in the wrestling, wherever you look at this man, he's just an absolute beast. Fighting an M1 challenge. I believe he was a champion over there. Had many main events over there. The M1 lightweight champion right there. But if you look at how he wins fights, 12 knockout wins, 1 submission win, and then 9 decision wins, and he's got good grappling as well. I mean, if you're able to beat Joel Alvarez and Thiago Moises, incredibly against Joel Alvarez, I mean, he was able to defend the takedowns against a really good wrestler and a really good grappler in Joel Alvarez, which is a really impressive thing to do. And considering he's a striker, to be able to defend the takedowns and the grappling and everything like that from a guy like Joel Alvarez, one of the top grapplers in the lightweight division, that is really impressive. So Damir Ismagulov, amazing takedown defense, and then obviously amazing striking with 12 knockout wins and then 9 decision wins right there. Rafael Alves, 19 wins and 9 losses, almost in the double digits for his losses right there. By a former Titan FC interim lightweight holder, contender series, got that win by second round guillotine. A lot of guillotines on this record as well, and then a couple of rear nakeds here and there. But 7 knockout wins, 7 submission wins, and 5 decision wins. I don't think he will win in the striking game. I mean, you look at the reach, you look at the height. Damir Ismagulov can keep the fight at range, just 1-2, leg kick, body kick, whatever the case may be, at range in this fight. In the striking portions of the fight, Damir Ismagulov is gonna piece Rafael Alves up. I mean, it's pretty simple what's gonna happen there, but Rafael Alves could grapple, could wrestle in the fight. It's going to be a really tough thing for him to do, considering how good of a grappler Damir Ismagulov is. His wrestling and grappling defense is just so good. And then mix that in with his striking, with his power, with his length, with his height, everything like that. I mean, he's a perfect size lightweight. And he's just all around an amazing MMA fighter. But 12 knockout wins on his record so far, 17 fight win streak, beating Joel Alvarez and Thiago Moises, 70% striking defense, only absorbing 1.8 strikes per minute. Amazing. That is some amazing striking defense. 100% takedown defense, which is also really good. A really good feints. 1-2, and then that nasty right high kick. I mean, the man overall, I mean, everywhere you look at this man, he's just an absolute beast. And the fight will go all the way right here. Since he's joined the UFC, all 3 of his wins have been decision wins, so I assume this fight will go all the way. Rafael Alves, if you look at how many times he has been finished, never mind, man. He's lost every single one of them. I'm switching my prediction. I'm saying that Damir Ismagulov is gonna win the fight by finish. I mean, I did not know Rafael Alves has had every single loss by knockout or submission. I think that's really crazy. But with the betting odds, I mean, the betting odds are insane. Minus 500 for Damir Ismagulov. Some of the betting odds have him at minus 700. Really big swing in terms of the odds right there for Damir Ismagulov and Rafael Alves. I'm not sure if the fight will go all the way. I'm personally thinking the fight will go all the way. I think there's a good chance we see a finish, considering every single loss from Rafael Alves has been a finish, and half of Damir Ismagulov's wins have been by knockout. So there is a good chance we see a knockout here. So I wouldn't be doing any prop bets on Damir Ismagulov. I probably wouldn't put him in a parlay, considering just how spread apart this is. Anything under minus 500, maybe you put him in a parlay, but anything like minus 600, especially minus 700, stay away from it. That is just way too much. But minus 500 and below, really good value for Damir Ismagulov right there. I mean, there's no real prediction I have to make. It's pretty obvious that Damir Ismagulov is going to win the fight. I mean, 94% going Ismagulov. Very likely getting the knockout here. A lot of power in his hands. 1-2, head kick, body kick, leg kicks, pressure. I mean, he's so long. He's so lengthy in the prime of his MMA career. Amazing takedown defense. Really good submission defense. he's just perfect, man. I mean, it's a pretty obvious prediction for me to make right here. So, yeah, my prediction is pretty obvious. I have Damir Ismagulov winning every single round in the striking game and winning the fight by 30-27 unanimous decision in the first fight on the prelims of UFC. Rob Font versus Cody Garbrandt should be a really good fight right there. But after that fight, we have Yancy Medeiros and Damir Hadzovic. Yancy Medeiros with 15 wins and 7 losses. Damir Hadzovic with 13 wins and 6 losses. 50-50 fight on the betting odds right here. Similar age. The one thing that is a humongous spread is the reach and height. Yancy Medeiros 1 inch taller than Damir Hadzovic. But if you look at that reach, I mean, come on. 75.5 inch reach. Like to keep at range. 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 over and over and over again. Just jab up Damir Hadzovic in the fight. Maybe implement some low calf kicks every now and then as well. He will surprisingly, I mean, this is like the first time we've seen Yancy Medeiros have the age advantage, but he will have a slight age advantage right here. He's on a 3-fight losing streak to Gregor Gillespie, Donald Cerrone, and then Lando Venata right there. Damir Hadzovic hasn't really done the best inside the UFC. Only I believe 3 wins over Marcin Held by third round knockout, Polo Reyes by second round knockout, and then he split decision win. So far, he's like 3-4 inside the UFC, which isn't really too good. I think this fight will stay on the feet. I don't really expect much grappling or wrestling from either fighter. They both are mainly boxers and kickboxers. Not really even kickboxers. They're probably just going to be boxing with each other for 3 straight rounds. There's possibly going to be a knockout here. 73% going Medeiros, 20% saying knockout, 33% going Hadzovic saying knockout. I think there's a possibility we see a knockout, but I think overall, if you're going to be betting on the fight, you probably have to say they're going to win the fight by decision. I think the fight will go all the way. And either way, whichever fighter you're going to bet on right here, you have to do a prop bet saying they're going to win the fight by decision, because I mean, it's very unlikely we see a finish right here. Are there even any prop bets for them winning by decision? So Medeiros winning by decision, really good odds. So if you guys have bet online, plus a 235. Amazing value. I love that pick right there. I mean, plus 160 for Hadzovic is horrible, but plus 200 for Hadzovic is really not too bad. And personally, I do have Medeiros winning the fight by decision. I think this is the amazing value at plus 235. I mean, that is amazing value. So I think Medeiros will ultimately win the fight by decision, and this could be a pretty good straight bet on the fight card with Medeiros winning by decision. But plus 235 is honestly some really good value right there. But overall, Yancy Medeiros and Damir Hadzovic are going to make this a boxing fight. You look right here. Let's see if we can find it. Yancy Medeiros, solid power in his hands. 8 knockout wins, mainly in the first and second round. Very tall, very lengthy. 5-inch reach advantage. Jab. I'm going to keep on saying it. Jab over and over again. Solid takedown defense of 75%. So the fight's going to stay on the feet. I mean, I don't really expect either fighter to go for any takedowns in the fight. The fight will be a boxing fight or a kickboxing fight for 3 straight rounds. He is taking the fight on short notice. I believe Damir Hadzovic was supposed to fight that one Dana White Contender Series guy, Nicolas Mota. So that is another disadvantage for Yancy Medeiros. I will say it right now. I would 100% go Yancy Medeiros if the fight was not on short notice. It makes it a lot closer of a fight now that the fight is now on short notice. Because I mean, he's not gonna have his full training camp. He's not gonna have the best cardio. Coming in on short notice as well. But volume. That's the thing that I think will get Yancy Medeiros to win right here. Volume, and pressure against the cage. That's it. That's all Yancy Medeiros needs to do. He needs to land like 120 strikes in the fight. He needs to put out a lot of volume and a lot of pressure against the cage. And I think if he does that, he'll probably win the fight by decision. And then again, those betting odds up plus 235 for Medeiros winning the fight by decision. But a lot of volume, lots of jabs, using that reach, a little bit of pressure here and there. I'm curious to see if he fights on the back foot or if he fights on the front foot. I think there will be times where I think it's going to be a little bit mixed. There will be times where he will be fighting on the front foot when he wants to land that volume and pressure Damir Hadzovic to the cage, and then just use that reach at range, trying to land that jab in the right hand. But I think for the most part, it should be pretty even. With if the fight is going to be on the front foot or the back foot. But Damir Hadzovic also has some pretty good power. 7 of his 13 wins coming by knockout. Most of his losses coming by submission or unanimous decision. The guys that got the ground and pound and got him down and wrestled and grappled for 3 straight rounds. But again, that's not going to be a factor here. They're both boxers and kickboxers, so this fight will stay on the feet. I'm going to say it again. The fight's going to stay on the feet. It's pretty obvious, but 1-2 combination. His jab is going to be a little bit harder to land in the fight, considering the high and reach of Yancy Medeiros, but he could land it a couple of times in the fight. His main combination he usually looks for in his fights is the 1-2-1-4. There's 1-2-1 and then the hook. Usually he's going to get that hook in, that right hook in, and get a nice shot on his opponent, but considering the high and reach, it's going to be a lot harder landing the looping punches on a taller fighter and a lengthier fighter in Yancy Medeiros. So I think that weapon in that 1-2-1-4 combination from Damir Hadzovic will be a little bit less utilized in the fight, considering the high end reach of Yancy Medeiros. But I mean, he does have the advantage of the 2-week notice for Yancy Medeiros right here, but he needs to up his volume. That's the one thing I don't like about him. I think Yancy Medeiros has a lot more volume than Damir Hadzovic, so I think that will be the factor that gets Yancy Medeiros the win right here. I think he could keep the fight at range and then kind of blitz in a little bit and pressure against the cage, get some strikes in, and just a lot of volume against the cage as well. But if Damir Hadzovic ups his volume a lot in this fight, and I'm not talking about like it has like 5 to 10 more strikes in the whole entire fight, I'm talking about he ups his strikes by like 30%. He needs to just up that volume a lot in this fight, and if he does, it'll definitely increase his chances of winning the fight. But you just haven't seen the volume punches from Damir Hadzovic in his career so far, so I don't know. I don't see him utilizing a lot of volume here, so I think Yancy Medeiros overall will land the majority of the punches, landing a lot of 1-2s, a lot of right hooks as well, using that reach jab over and over again. And overall, I'm gonna go with the slight underdog right here at minus 105. Some of the betting odds have him at plus 105, something like that. But the only bet I would probably look at for Yancy Medeiros and Damir Hadzovic would be either fighter winning by decision. If it's gonna be Yancy, I definitely say by decision at plus 235. Which is amazing value. But my prediction right there, Yancy Medeiros winning the fight by unanimous decision. Should be a really good lightweight fight right there. But after that, we have two opposite ends of the spectrum in the Yilin Shah and Joshua Culiba. This fight in the featherweight division. Joshua Culiba wants to get this fight on the feet 100%. I'm gonna say right now, it took me forever to find film on Yilin Shah right here, coming from China right here. I mean, he does have a lot of fights with 25 professional MMA fights, a really good grappling and a really good wrestling and ground and pound as well. But it took me forever to find any film whatsoever on this guy. I mean, I was searching for at least a good 35 minutes before I found like any film, and that was with the Zhu Rong fight and Alexei Oleinik. Those are the only two real fights that I really found any film on, but I really could not find any film. The only thing I took from the film that I saw from Yilin Shah, he wants to take you down, he wants to get you to the cage, get the body lock, get the trip takedown, get side control, ground and pound over and over again, and they get the submission. He's gonna want to get the fight to the ground as soon as possible, but he does have 9 knockout wins, mainly by ground and pound TKO, with 5 submission wins and 5 decision wins. But he's obviously gonna want to get the fight to the ground and get the submission or the ground and pound TKO. Joshua Culiba, a little bit better striking on the feet. He will be a little bit taller, a little bit more lengthy. You see it right here, with a 2-inch reach advantage and then a 2-inch height advantage right there. Most likely, he's gonna want to get the fight on the feet 100%. He does have a pretty good straight right hand and some amazing kicks, really good body kicks right to the liver, and some pretty good head kicks as well. But 5 knockout wins and 3 decision wins. Overall, should be a pretty interesting fight. I probably wouldn't bet on it, considering Joshua Culiba is a pretty sizable favorite. Let's see if I can find it. Minus 230. Those are the best odds that you can get Joshua Culiba at right now. Probably just stay away from it. I don't like that big of a spread on odds on Joshua Culiba and Yilin Shah, considering Yilin Shah could just play the lay and pray tactic and just have a little bit of ground and pound here and there. Those little tap shots that Derek Brunson and Colby coming to do in their fights. But I probably just stay away from betting on this one, considering I think the fight will go all the way. Maybe you just put a bet on the fight going to decision. I probably wouldn't put a bet on either fighder actually winning the fight by decision. I maybe go Yilin Shah as the underdog winning the fight by decision, but other than that, I mean, there's not really any good bets for the fight. I'm gonna say right now, just stay away from the fight. I mean, there's a lot of other good fights on here that have a lot of other a lot of better upside in their value. So I'd probably just stay away from betting on this one right here. Ultimately, I'm probably going Josh Culiba. I think his striking is a little bit better. Has shown some pretty solid takedown defense so far inside the UFC. 5 knockout wins in the first and second round, and then 3 wins by decision, mainly in the striking game. A little bit taller, a little bit more lengthy, which will help him in the striking game. A really powerful right hook, and when he breaks the clinch, usually tries to land a head kick, a body kick, or just a right hook as well. But when he breaks the kick, once he breaks the clinch, he just lands a really good shot. So I think this fight will spend a lot of time in the clinch, considering the only shot wants the fight to go to the ground. He wants to get that body lock in the clinch, go for the trip takedown, get the fight down, and then ground the pound and go for the submission. But overall, Josh Culiba, not really the best wrestling offense, but his takedown defense is honestly pretty good. He uses the guillotine to get back up on the feet as well. But 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 over and over again. Josh Culiba, he's just gonna want to keep the fight on the feet and just 1-2 over and over again. And ultimately, most likely will win the fight by decision. But in my opinion, if I were to put betting odds on this one, I probably have Josh Culiba around I'd probably say minus 175, minus 180, somewhere around that range. Definitely wouldn't have him as a 2-1 favorite, considering the grappling and wrestling pedigree of Yilin Shah right here. He wants to fight to the ground. He wants to get the body lock takedown, get you down and ground pound you, and get the submission. So this is definitely a fight I would not bet on unless you're going for the underdog in Yilin Shah winning by decision at plus 430. That's the only real bet I really can think of for this fight. But I think the striking is a little bit better from Josh Culiba. I think his takedown defense is pretty solid. His submission defense is also pretty solid. And his scrambles and his transitions back up to the feet are also very good. So I think overall, Joshua Culiba will do a good job of keeping the fight on the feet, or when he does get taken down, getting the fight right back up on the feet. But again, do not bet on Joshua Culiba unless you want to lose some money, possibly in the underdog and Yilin Shah winning right here. Because I do have Joshua Culiba as a minus 175, minus 180 favorite. So just stay away from the fight, but ultimately going Josh Culiba to win the fight. A 30-27 unanimous decision right there. After that fight, would be a really good flyweight fight right here. The betting odds are really spread out right there. Bruno Silva at minus 280 as a moderate favorite. 11 wins, 5 losses, and surprisingly has 2 draws on his record. I don't know how he got 2 draws in his record, but whatever the case may be, I'm really not too sure. A little bit smaller, a little bit less lengthy than Victor Rodriguez, but solid grappling, some really good wrestling as well. I mean, in his last fight with JP Buys, I was super surprised. I mean, he ended up knocking out JP Buys, but JP Buys known to be a really good wrestler and grappler, but I believe Bruno Silva got a takedown on JP Buys and defended all the takedowns from JP Buys. So, I mean, amazing wrestling, amazing takedown defense from Bruno Silva. He can possibly make this a wrestling and grappling fight on Victor Rodriguez, considering maybe he doesn't want the smoke and the power with Victor Rodriguez. You look at how Victor wins his fights. I mean, it's pretty obvious. You look right here. Second round knockout win. First round knockout win. Knockout. Every single win coming by knockout, and every single loss coming by knockout. So I think this is a fight that potentially could be a knockout in the first or second round in the flyweight division right here. But Victor Rodriguez has a lot of power in his hands, but Bruno Silva could implement more of a wrestling and grappling-based game plan, considering Victor Rodriguez, his wrestling and grappling, 0. I mean, he has 0 wrestling, 0 grappling. Bruno Silva, we saw in the last fight with JP Buys, he does have a solid wrestling, he does have a solid grappling background as well, so I honestly do think that he might have a striking advantage at range. In the clinch as well, Bruno Silva will have the advantage, so I think Bruno Silva will grapple and will wrestle in the fight and just dominate Victor Rodriguez on the ground. Again, there is that possibility that Victor Rodriguez gets a knockout with 7 of 7 wins by knockout right there, but in the fight, considering how spread out the odds are for Bruno Silva at minus 280, that's just too much. I mean, minus 280, almost a 3-1 favorite for Bruno Silva. That is just way too much. I'd probably stay away from betting on Bruno Silva. And, I mean, some of the odds makers have him over a minus 300. That is just way too much right there. But Victor Rodriguez, if there are any odds for him winning the fight by knockout, maybe you put a small $1 bet, because I believe those odds are probably going to be high plus 700, plus 800, something insane like that. But other than that bet on the underdog and Victor Rodriguez winning the fight by knockout, There's nothing else. I mean, it's pretty obvious Bruno Silva is going to win the fight. He's going to grapple. He's going to wrestle. And he's going to dominate Victor Rodriguez on the ground to a decision win. Possibly a TKO win. Possibly a submission win. Whatever the case may be. But I think overall, Bruno Silva should win the fight by decision right here. His grappling is better. His striking is a little bit better in terms of how many strikes he's going to be landing. The power advantage obviously going to Victor Rodriguez. But in terms of who's going to be landing more strikes, that would be Bruno Silva. And mix that in with the grappling and wrestling. It's pretty obvious. Bruno Silva will win the fight, probably by 30-27 unanimous decision right there. And if you guys want to pause the video right here, you guys can look at all this stuff. This is all the research I did for the fight, but it's a pretty obvious prediction. Bruno Silva is going to win that fight by unanimous decision right there, but it should be a really... After that fight with Claudio Silva and Court McGee, I love the odds right here. Claudio Silva at -130, but now I believe there's odds on Claudio Silva at -105. I love those odds. A -103 on Claudio Silva. Personally, I have Claudio Silva around -140, -150, somewhere around that range. At least a 1.5 to 1 favor, something around that range for Claudio Silva. Now that they have him at even money odds, I love it. I love those odds right there. I think there's a possibility he could get the submission, possibly get the TKO right here. Most likely the fight will go all the way, but I think there is a possibility Claudio Silva gets a submission with 14 wins and 2 losses, 10 submission wins, 1 knockout win, and 3 decision wins. Out of his losses, a decision loss to James Krause, I believe, and then a DQ loss right there. But he wants the fight to go to the ground. He wants to wrestle. He wants to grapple, and he wants that TKO, and he wants that submission on Court McGee right here. That is the main game plan for Claudio Silva right here. And guess what, guys? This is the one thing I found while watching some film on this guy right here. He beat Leon Edwards. The man beat Leon Edwards. The only men to beat Leon Edwards are Kamaru, the Nigerian Nightmare Usman, Claudio Silva, and this one guy at the beginning of his career by a legal knee. So the only real 2 people to beat Leon Edwards are Kamaru Usman, one of the greatest welterweights of all time, and Claudio Silva. I mean, that is just absolutely insane. In the fight with Leon Edwards and Claudio Silva, Claudio got like 3 or 4 takedowns, wrestled and grappled, got on top of him, and just ground and pounded for 3 straight rounds for that decision win. That is exactly what I expect for Claudio Silva to do right here. The striking advantage would probably go to Court McGee. He will be a little bit more lengthy at 75.5-inch reach, but I really don't care. I don't care if Court McGee is going to have that striking advantage. Eventually, Claudio Silva will get Court McGee to the ground and wrestle and grapple and ground and pound and go for submission and go for the TKO, whatever the case may be. I think this is a pretty easy prediction, and I love the odds, guys. This is amazing value on Claudio Silva at -103. Amazing value. I probably wouldn't do any prop bets on Claudio Silva, considering he does have some really good submission skills, a really good ground and pound as well. So I'm not too sure if there's going to be a finish or not, so I probably just stick with a nice straight bet at -107 for Claudio Silva. Amazing value. I mean, this is the perfect time to put money on Claudio Silva, because I believe in the next couple of days, the odds for Claudio Silva are going to go right back down to -150, -160. So amazing value right there for Claudio Silva. 100% have Claudio Silva winning the fight by 30-27 in a dominant wrestling and grappling unanimous decision right there. I'm going to say it right now, I have Ben Rothwell winning the fight. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Chris Barnett, I mean, he moves around like really good for a heavyweight. I mean, he's going for flying knees, head kicks, spinning back fists, spinning back kicks, whatever the case may be. Chris Barnett's crazy. I really don't know how he does it, but he has so many weird attacks that he hits you with, but a lot of knockouts. I mean, 16 knockout wins, 5 decision wins. The man has a lot of power. I mean, for how big he is for the heavyweight division, he's so elusive. He's like, flying knees for Chris Barnett. How are you doing that? Flying knees for Chris Barnett. I mean, that is just absolutely insane. But he's going to be a lot smaller, a lot less lengthy than Ben Rothwell right here. I mean, Ben Rothwell, 80-inch reach and 6'4" tall, having a 7-inch height advantage over Chris Barnett right here. Ben Rothwell, I mean, I honestly had him beating Marcin Tybura. Before that, beat Ovi St. Pur and Steven Struve. I mean, the striking at range from Ben Rothwell is just really good. The 1-2 over and over and over again. I think if the fight goes all the way, Ben Rothwell will win the fight. Has amazing volume punching. I don't see any wrestling or grappling from either fighters, to be honest. I think the fight will stay on the feet. Chris Barnett, his only chance to win would be some crazy, flashy, spinning back kick right to the liver, knocking Ben Rothwell out with a kick, getting some flying knee, getting some knee to the body, whatever the case may be. Something crazy from Chris Barnett, or just his classic overhand right hand. That's the only real ways I see Chris Barnett winning right here. He's taking the fight on, I believe, like 1 or 2 weeks' notice. Ben Rothwell has had a lot of different opponents scheduled. Felipe Lin's canceled, and then Askar Barzarov canceled as well, and then finally gonna be fighting Chris Barnett until it gets canceled as well. I mean, I really don't know why. How many fights are getting canceled with Ben Rothwell? I really don't know, but definitely going Ben Rothwell right here to win the fight by knockout in the first or second round. I mean, how many knockouts does this man have, and how much experience? 38 wins and 13 losses. Insane, bro. He's just gonna piece them up in this striking game. 22 knockout wins, 12 submission wins, and 4 decision wins. Absolutely insane. But I think Ben Rothwell is gonna piece Chris Barnett up in the striking game with that height, with that reach. 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, over and over and over again. And let's look at the betting odds right now. Let's see if I can find it. I'm not sure where it is. Yeah, so minus 250. I think that's a really, really good value. Actually, never mind. Let me refresh the page. Oh god, we missed out on it. We missed out, guys. But earlier it was at minus 240. I thought that was amazing value. I made this video a little bit too late, but now the odds are around minus 275. I don't know. There is a possibility that Chris Barnett gets the knockout in some crazy flashy way, but I think overall one of these two guys will win the fight by knockout right here, and that man will be Ben Rothwell. I mean, you look at Ben Rothwell, 22 knockout wins. Absolutely insane, but plus 130 for Ben Rothwell winning by knockout. I probably take that. I don't think there's enough value on minus 275, minus 300. Just straight up Ben Rothwell winning the fight. So I think there's much more value in Ben Rothwell winning the fight by knockout. So I think that's the only real good bet to make right here. Maybe, just maybe, you put Ben Rothwell in a parlay. I don't know. It's a little bit risky. It is a heavyweight division. Very, very risky when you're putting a heavyweight fighter in a parlay. But I don't know. Anything around minus 275, minus 250, anything around that range. Maybe you put Ben Rothwell in a parlay, and maybe you put him in just a straight bet, a prop bet for him winning by knockout. But overall, my prediction is definitely going to be Ben Rothwell winning the fight by knockout in the first or second round. Right there should be a really, really good heavyweight fight right there. After that fight right there, we have Bill Algie and Ricardo Ramos in the featherweight division. Bill Algie, 14 wins and 5 losses. Super slight favorite at minus 120, 31, almost 32 years old, a little bit taller, a little bit more lengthy, with a 1.5 inch reach advantage, and then a 3-inch height advantage in the fight as well. Ricardo Ramos, the man's just, I mean, he does so many crazy attacks, spinning back fists, spinning back elbows, spinning back kicks, whatever the case may be, a lot of spinning stuff from this guy right here. But both fighters have really good striking. Ricardo Ramos with 14 wins and 3 losses right there. Decision winner, we're naked, spinning at back elbow, as I was talking about just a little while ago right there. But surprisingly has a lot of submission wins rather than knockout wins, with 7 submission wins and 3 knockout wins with 4 decision wins. The one thing that I'm kind of suspect on Bill Algie in this fight is his wrestling defense and his grappling defense as well. We saw in the fight with Ricardo Lamas, the main reason he ended up losing the fight was because of the wrestling and grappling of Ricardo Lamas. I believe he got like 5 or 6 takedowns, something like that. A lot of control time. I believe like half of the fight was Ricardo Lamas on top with ground and pound and with submission attempts as well. So if the fight stays in the feet, I'm probably going to Bill Algie to win the fight by decision. But there is that part of me that thinks Ricardo Ramos could go out there and could grapple and wrestle in the fight, having 7 submission wins on his record so far. But I don't know. It's a tough one. It's a pretty close fight. I mean, you see the odds of minus 120 and then minus 105. Let's see. What are the betting odds at right now? Let's see. So minus... Okay, that's a different one. Let's see, where is it, man? I'm probably going right past it. Bill Algie, Ricardo Ramos, so minus 120 and then minus 110. I probably only bet on the fight. I probably wouldn't put a bet on Bill Algie. I probably only bet on the fight if it's even money or underdog odds. That's what I'd probably do for here. But I'd probably say maybe a decision bet. A prop bet for Bill Algie or Ricardo Ramos right here. Let's see, what are the odds for them winning by decision? So plus 245 for Ramos winning by decision, and then plus 165 for Algie winning by decision. So either way, whichever guy you have winning the fight, put them in winning the fight by decision. I think it's going to be a really, really close striking fight. Maybe we see some grappling mixed in here and there from Ricardo Ramos, but most likely the fight will stay on the feet. Bill Algie going to have a 3-inch height advantage and a 1.5-inch reach advantage in the fight. I'm going to want to keep the fight at range and just kind of go for the 1-2 combinations over and over and over again. Inside leg kicks, body kicks as well. Just jab, jab, jab over and over and over again, using that height and using that reach as well. He's outstrikes by Ricardo Ramos on the feet, but it was those wrestling and grappling tendencies that had him losing the fight with Ricardo Ramos. But if he keeps the fight on the feet, his chances of winning the fight are really, really good. But he needs this fight to stay on the feet because his biggest weakness is the wrestling and grappling defense of his own in his fight so far inside of the UFC so far. But he needs to land a lot of volume right here. Both fighters have a lot of volume, so I think Bill Algie needs to land a lot of volume in the first round and a lot of volume in the second round, and then play safe in the third round for a 29-28 decision win. But he needs to put out a lot of volume in the early rounds if he wants to win the fight. But he's already done that so far. I mean, inside of the UFC, 6.8 significant strikes per minute. That is a lot of volume. I mean, almost 7 strikes per minute. That is a lot of volume. If he can keep on doing similar volume, around 6.8, 7 strikes per minute, I'm probably going to be going with Bill Algie to win the fight by decision right here. Again, if the fight hits the mat, I will give the slight advantage to Ricardo Ramos right there, but I think overall, the fight will stay on the feet, and Bill Algie will keep the fight at range, use his volume, the jab, the straight right, the leg kicks, use his body kicks as well, use his cardio, and keep the fight really, really close in the striking game. But I think overall, he should win the fight by decision. I think it's a really, really close fight. My prediction is Bill Algie winning the fight by decision, but the one thing I'm going to say it again, the one thing I don't like about Bill Algie is the wrestling and grappling. That could be a path to victory for Ricardo Ramos right here, so that is why I'm a little bit hesitant on putting a bet on Bill Algie, just because of the wrestling and just because of that grappling as well. But Ricardo Ramos, really good in the clinch as well, really good knees, really good spinning attacks. I mean, the elbows, the knees, I mean, the spinning back kicks, I mean, all the spinning stuff. The man is just crazy, but really, really striking. If you were to win the fight, he probably needs to mix in a little bit of wrestling and grappling here and there, keep the fight really, really even in the striking game, and just end every single round with a double leg takedown. And that'd probably give him the win. I mean, to be honest, if he just ends every single one of the rounds with a double leg, with a clinch to body leg, to trip takedown, whatever the case may be, he needs to end the fight and each round with a double leg takedown. And that's the main way I see him winning the fight. Keeping it really, really 50-50 on the feet, where the judges are kind of going back and forth on who they should pick to win the round. And the one thing that would kind of separate who's going to be winning those rounds would be the takedowns and the wrestling of Ricardo Ramos. So, he needs to implement the wrestling and takedowns at the end of each round, and that could be a way for him to kind of settle the judges on picking him to win those rounds. But really good body locks in the cage, solid trip takedown as well. But he needs to get this fight to the ground. He needs to wrestle, he needs to grapple, and he needs to try to get the TKO, try to get some ground up on whatever the case may be. And he could probably win the fight by decision, just doing that, just wrestling and grappling in the later stages of the fight, and just keeping it very, very even in the striking game. Overall, I mean, it's super close. I think it's 50-50. I mean, the tabloid predictions, 59% going Ramos, and then 41% going Algie. I think it's super, super close. But I think the striking advantage will go to Bill Algie with the height, with the reach, with the jabs, with the straight right, with the leg kicks, with the body kicks, with all those types of things. If he can keep the fight on the feet, I think he will win the fight. I'm going Bill Algie to win the fight by unanimous decision right here, 29-28 on all judges' scorecards. Again, I think this is the fight that you only bet on the fight if there is an underdog. If it's like plus 110, I'd probably bet on that person. But other than that, I don't really see any. Actually, sorry. If you're gonna bet on the fight, put them in a prop bet. So if I were to bet on, I'm losing it. If I were to bet on Bill Algie to win the fight, I would say him winning the fight by decision. The odds for that, I believe, are plus 165 if I can find it. Where are they? Let me see. 1 second, guys. Yeah, plus 165 for Algie winning by decision. I think that's the only real good bet that I see in the fight card so far. If you guys think that Ricardo Ramos can mix in the wrestling and mix in the grappling here and there every now and then in the fight, maybe you go Ramos winning the fight by decision, because those odds are even better at plus 245. But overall, it should be a really, really good fight in the featherweight division. Overall, I'm very, very slightly going with Bill Algie right here. Should be a close one, but yeah, I got Bill Algie winning the fight by by 29-28, unanimous decision right there. And guys, we made it through the main card right here. Jack Hermansson and Edmen Shahbazyan. First off, I'm gonna look at the betting odds. So right now, you see right here, Jack Hermansson at minus 145. That's really, really good, considering just a couple of days ago, the odds were at minus 188. I mean, those are some insane odds right there. But after that, it shot up to minus 160, and then just like literally today, shot up all the way to minus 144. I think that is an incredible value right there. I think if you're going to bet on Edmen Shahbazyan, you probably have to make him above plus 150. That's the only reason I put a bet on Edmen Shahbazyan. If he was above plus 150, but right now he's at plus 135, so I'd probably stay away from that. But Jack Hermansson at minus 145, amazing value. You look at the prop bets, I think the fight should probably be a finish, maybe a ground and pound, maybe a TKO win in the second or third round from Jack Hermansson right here. But I don't think it's like a 2-1 odds that the fight will be a finish, so maybe you want to go Jack Hermansson by decision, because those odds for Jack Hermansson winning by decision, I know there's a very good possibility he gets a TKO from ground up or gets a submission on the ground as well. But considering, I mean, there is a possibility the fight goes all the way, and there are some really good odds for Hermansson winning the fight by decision at plus 400. So that's the only real good bet I see besides just Hermansson straight up winning the fight at minus 145. So for the fight, my two really good bets are Hermansson just straight up winning the fight at minus 145, and if you wanna test the odds out a little bit, Jack Hermansson by decision at plus 400. Amazing odds right there. But other than that, I don't really see any other good odds, good prop bets, anything like that for the fight. But overall, we got a really good grappler with an amazing ground pound in Jack Hermansson, and then we got Edmen Shahbazyan, who wants this fight to stay on the feet and wants another knockout or wants a dominant decision win in the striking game. 11 wins and 1 loss, 9 knockout wins, 1 submission win, and 1 decision win. The thing I don't like about him, we saw the last fight with Garbrandt, and his cardio. That is the one thing I don't like. His cardio is just not really too good. He lays it out a lot on the line in the first round. You see right here, first knockout win, first submission win, first knockout win, first knockout win, first knockout win, first knockout win. He's used to getting these first round finishes over and over again. And when he gets a fight, that goes to the second and third round, his cardio fades out extremely badly. And in the second and third round, when he got wrestlers and grapplers like Garbrandt and like Jack Hermansson, they jump on that opportunity and get the takedown, get him down to ground and go for the submission. So I think this fight should, if it goes past the first round, Jack Hermansson should 100% win the fight, like ground and pound TKO, or win the fight by unanimous decision. The fight with Garbrandt to kind of seal the fate on who I'm going to be picking right here with Jack Hermansson and Edmen Shahbazyan. I think we'll see a lot of wrestling and a lot of grappling from Jack Hermansson, but I did see some BJ Penn article saying Jack Hermansson was not afraid to strike with Edmen Shahbazyan. I'm going to say right now, he could possibly actually strike with Edmen Shahbazyan. He does have a 77.5-inch reach advantage, which is really good, a 3.5-inch reach advantage, but I think he's going to need to use that reach advantage, have Edmen come to him, and once he overcommits on that right hand, go in for the double leg takedown, get him down, and then do exactly what Garbrandt did and ground and go for the submission for all of the rounds right here. But overall, I'm definitely going Jack Hermansson. I think this one should be either a knockout win from Edmen Shahbazyan in the first round, or a lopsided dominant decision win from Jack Hermansson in the second and third round, in the grappling, the wrestling, and in the ground and pound. So I'm going to be going with Jack Hermansson. Again, the betting odds that I really love for the fight are just the regular straight bet on Jack Hermansson, just straight up winning the fight at minus 144, and then Jack Hermansson winning by decision, insane odds at plus 400 right there, I believe. Let's see, plus 400 for Jack Hermansson by decision, really good odds right there. But overall, I'm definitely going Jack Hermansson to win that fight. My 30-27 unanimous decision should be a really good middleweight fight right there. We have two really good strikers in the flyweight division right here. We got David Devorak and Raulian Paiva in the flyweight division. I am hyped on David Devorak. I mean, I love this man's style. Every single time he goes out there, his striking, it looks so easy. And I know it's so hard to do what he does, but I think he's the perfect fighter in this flyweight division for 5-round fights, because his cardio is insane, and he inflicts the same amount of damage in the first and second round as he does in the third, fourth, fifth round, whatever the case may be. Amazing cardio, and he does so good in the later rounds. Really good leg case, really good 1-2 combinations, amazing head movement as well, and some really good striking defense. I mean, I am hyped on David Devorak. I know a lot of of you guys might not really even know who David Devorak is, but the man's an absolute beast. Already 2-0 inside the UFC. Only 2 wins, but decision win over Bruno Silva, and then a decision win over Jordan Espinosa. Before that, I mean, he's 8 knockout wins, 7 submission wins, and then 4 decision wins. His striking is where it's at. I mean, he does have some really good wrestling and grappling. Not as good as Raulian Paiva. I don't really see any wrestling or grappling in this fight, but I think the fight will stand the feet. And David Devorak, his striking is just, it is so good. I mean, I encourage you, just look up the fight with Jordan Espinosa. He made it look so easy. But he's 28, almost 29 years old, a little bit smaller and a little bit less lengthy as Raulian Paiva, who has a reach of almost 70 inches and is about 3 inches taller than David Devorak in the fight right here. But let's take a look at the betting odds. So I love those odds right there, minus 140 for David Devorak. There was a point where David Devorak was at minus 180, so now that he's at minus 140, I think that is a really good straight bet. But David Devorak by decision is also a really good bet. Let's see if I can find it right here. So Devorak winning by decision plus 155. Really good value. I think this fight ultimately will go all the way. About 80% of the time, I think there's a possibility that Raulian Paiva or David Devorak gets a knockout right here. But I think the fight will go all the way, and plus 155 for David Devorak winning the fight by decision is a really good value. But Raulian Paiva with 20 wins and 3 losses, really good boxing, and not really the best wrestling, not really the Sorry about that. Not really the best wrestling. I mean, we saw with Kai Kara-France and Roger Montorin. He got a Dr. Shabbos loss. Interesting, but you look right here. 13 decision wins, 4 submission wins, and 3 knockout wins. I do not expect a finish from either fighter. I mean, if you just see any of the fights from Raulian Paiva, he eats some big shots. And nothing happens. He has a really good chin for this flyweight division. So I do not see a knockout or a submission, whatever the case may be. I do not see a finish in this fight right here. I think the fight will go all the way, and one of these 2 flyweights will win their fight by unanimous decision. But David Devorak, once again, the fight standing with a lot of knockout wins and 7 submission wins on his record so far. Pretty okay wrestling defense of 75%, but his wrestling offense and grappling offense isn't really too good. His wrestling defense is where it's at, really good at 75%. His striking defense, amazing. He only gets hit 3 times per minute at a 65% striking defense, which is really good. And then a striking offense of 6.3 strikes landing every single minute. So he's outlanding his opponents by double. I mean, that is just absolutely insane. But I think he will have the speed advantage and the power advantage over Raulian Paiva in this fight. But he does have some really good calf kicks as well. Probably going to be the inside calf kicks. I don't really see him attack with the outside calf kicks very often. I assume if he's going to be attacking the legs in the early rounds, it would be the inside calf kick. Just kind of limit the movement of Raulian Paiva right here. But I'm not sure if he's going to be the one on the front foot or if he's going to be on the back foot. Not really too sure, but either way, David Devorak, even as a counter puncher, is really good with that 1-2 combination, the leg kicks, the body kicks, that 1-2 over and over again. And then obviously, the inside leg kicks are really good as well. Raulian Paiva is also a pretty good striker, likes to be the one coming forward. That's the main reason. I see David Devorak playing more of a counter puncher role right here with Raulian Paiva. So I think Raulian Paiva will be the one going forward, but that's the thing. If Raulian Paiva is the one moving forward, David Devorak is just going to jab him up, and keep on whacking that lead leg with leg kicks and that straight right hand over and over again. So with Raulian Paiva moving forward, he's going to eat a lot of unnecessary shots that he wouldn't if he just kept the fight at range. But I think overall, Raulian Paiva could win this fight, but his big disadvantage in his style is he just comes forward, and David Devorak is just going to land a lot of strikes when Raulian Paiva comes a little bit too close to David Devorak right there. But they have similar power, but I think there's a pretty big speed advantage for David Devorak right here. But Raulian Paiva, really good 1-2 combinations, 80% takedown defense as well. He needs to get the fight closer to the cage, in the clinch, with knees to the body, with elbows in the clinch as well. I think if he were to win the fight, probably be keeping the fight super even at range in the striking game, and then kind of getting the fight in the clinch for 1.5 minutes every single round, landing the elbows, landing the knees to the body, and that could possibly be the one thing that gets him the win in every one of the rounds. But other than that, at range, I give the advantage to David Devorak. I think he's a lot faster, a little bit more powerful. The leg kicks, a 1-2 combination. I mean, there's a lot of advantages at range for David Devorak. But if Raulian Paiva is he's going to win the fight, he needs to clinch up, he needs to elbow, and he needs to knee to the body. I think that's the main way Raulian Paiva should win this fight. But I don't know. I see him kind of moving forward a little bit too much and eating a lot of unnecessary strikes from Dave Devorak. I mean, I don't know. I think David Devorak is just going to counter up Raulian Paiva with jabs, with the straight right, and with a lot of body kicks and leg kicks as well. So I'm very hyped on David Devorak. I can't wait to see what he does in a 5-round main event. I think he's the perfect style for a 5-round main event. But I'm 100% going David Devorak to win that fight. My 30-27 unanimous decision right there. I'm going to say it right now. This could possibly be the last fight ever in the UFC featherweight division. I mean, you look at the featherweight rankings. I mean, who else is there? I mean, you got Julia Budd, who's in Bellator. You got Megan Anderson, who just lost to Amanda Nunes. Felicia Spencer, who just lost to Amanda Nunes. Chris Cyber over there in Bellator. Kazingano in Bellator. Arlene Blanco in Bellator. Leslie Smith in Bellator. All these girls are over there in Bellator. There's only really 2 other featherweights, in Megan Anderson and Felicia Spencer, inside of the UFC. So, personally, I think this fight will be the last featherweight fight ever inside the UFC. I really do think so. But we have Nurmagomedov and Felicia Spencer right here. Let's check out the odds really quickly. Felicia Spencer minus 142. That's pretty solid, considering the odds just a couple of days ago were at minus 200, double the odds than they are right now, at minus 142. I think that's some really good value. Anything under minus 150 is a really good value on Felicia Spencer. All she does, go for the wrestling, get you down, double leg takedown, and then ground and pound, and go for the rear naked, whatever the case may be. If you look at how she wins the fights, either ground and pound TKO, or by rear and naked submission. I mean, ground and pound TKO, rear naked, decision win, rear naked, and ground and pound TKO. You already know what she's going to be doing right here. I mean, it's quite obvious what she's going to do. I'm not sure if there will be a finish right here. Minus 145, that the fight goes all the way. Personally, I do think we will see a finish from Felicia Spencer or Nurmagomedov in the fight, just because of the ground and pound and the rear naked submission skills on top for Felicia Spencer right here. But Nurmagomedov needs to keep this fight on their feet. I mean, if she gets taken down just once from Felicia Spencer, she's going to get dominated. I mean, she's the 27th best bantamweight. We saw in her last fight with Ashley Evans Smith. Shows some really good striking, but I don't really know if that's the same Ashley Evans Smith that usually comes out there. She didn't really look like her normal self, so she was kind of fighting not the best Ashley Evans Smith, but she was some pretty decent striking. I mean, any striking is honestly going to be better than Felicia Spencer, but I think Felicia Spencer will wrestle, will grapple, will ground and pound, and look for that rear naked every single one of these 3 rounds. I think the odds that they have her at right now at minus 142 are some really good odds. I think Felicia Spencer will get the fight to the ground every single round, grapple, ground and pound, and just go for takedown after takedown over and over again. Very likely we see a TKO. Very likely we see a rear and naked submission, but I don't know. I'm going to say it right now. I'm going to go Felicia Spencer by TKO in the 3rd and final round. I think eventually that ground and pound will kind of subdue to Nurmagomedov, and she'll just land enough ground and pound where the ref will stop the fight. So my prediction for the featherweight fight, possibly the last featherweight fight of all time inside the UFC, is going to be Felicia Spencer winning this fight by 30-27 unanimous decision, or by 3rd round TKO from ground and pound shots as well. But overall, it should be a really good last featherweight fight in my opinion. But I love Justin Tafa. I love how this man fights, but this is going to be a really good heavyweight fight. Justin Tafa and Jared Bandera. I love Justin Tafa. 4 wins and 2 losses, minus 190 on the betting odds right now. 27.5 years old, a lot smaller and a lot less lengthy than Jared Bandera. You look right here. I mean, 6 foot 4 inches tall, 4 inches taller, and a 6-inch reach advantage. Maybe he uses that reach, maybe he uses that height to keep the fight at range and just jab Justin Tafa up. Maybe that's a strategy he will use in the fight, but personally, I'm going to say right now, I have Justin Tafa winning the fight by KO TKO in the 1st or 2nd round. The betting odds are minus 180. I think that's pretty solid. I think there's going to be points where the odds go to around minus 160 and minus 170. I'd probably just wait a little bit because I think the odds will kind of move around just a little bit to minus 170, minus 160. If they go to minus 170 and minus 160, put a straight bet on Justin Tafa, or maybe say Justin Tafa winning the fight by knockout. Let's see right here. Let's see, where's Tafa winning by knockout? So, Tafa by knockout. They're saying Tafa by knockout in the first round. I don't want in the first round. I just want Tafa by knockout, just straight up. But Tafa wins by knockout. Yeah, minus 125. I don't really like that. Minus 125 seems like a little bit too much, so I'd probably stay away from that one. Maybe just do a straight bet on Justin Tafa, just straight up winning the fight. Just straight up winning the fight. But Justin Tafa, really, really powerful. 4 wins and 2 losses. A top 50 heavyweight fighter in the world. Second round knockout win, first round knockout win, second round knockout win, and a first round knockout win with a super controversial split decision loss with Carlos Felipe in his last fight. Really close and a really, it was a really good fight. I mean, that was just an incredible fight with Carlos Felipe and Justin Tafa. I encourage you, go look at that fight with Justin Tafa and Carlos Felipe. Really, really good fight. I believe it's a fight of the night. I'm not too sure, but in this fight right here, I expect a lot of power and most likely a knockout from Justin Tafa or Jared Bandera. But Justin Tafa, powerful 100%. Every single win coming by knockout. 5.33 significant strikes at landing per minute. A 60% accuracy rate, which is really, really good. Defensive striking is also very, very good at 50%. 0 wrestling offense and 0 wrestling defense. Anything like that. I mean, he's taking the defense, I believe. Yeah, 100% takedown defense, but he does not want any wrestling or offense happening in any one of his fights. Amazing takedown defense, but no takedown or wrestling offense of his own. But he's going to be much smaller in terms of height and reach. If he closes that distance and pressures Jared Bandera against the cage and just starts unleashing on those really, really good power punches against the cage, possibly gets a knockout, possibly lands that right hook and knocks Jared Bandera out, or just dominates in the striking game with pressure and volume and wins a decision win right here. But powerful. I'm going to say it again. Powerful and powerful. The man has a lot of power in his hands. Surprisingly, I mean, I was super surprised when I saw this, but he is a black belt, a blue belt in BJJ. How, bro? I mean, I've seen some training footage of his ground and pound. It is vicious. But I haven't seen much of his grappling or jiu-jitsu or anything like that. But he's a blue belt in BJJ. Absolutely insane. Added up with that 100% takedown defense. Most likely, this fight is staying on the feet 100%. But, Jared Bandera also has a lot of power in his hands with 7 of 11 wins coming by knockout in the first and second round. Maybe I'm gonna say right now, this one is gonna be a knockout. I think the odds that the fight is gonna be a knockout are very, very correct. I mean, let's see if I can find it, but minus 375. The fight does not go to decision. This is a heavyweight banger of a fight with Justin Tafa and Jared Bandera. Is going to be a really, really good fight. I really, really hope the fight goes all the way and we see a similar fight to Carlos Felipe and Justin Tafa, because that would just be absolutely insane, and it would be a fight of the night for sure. But overall, Justin Tafa will pressure Jared Bandera against the cage and land his power shots and try to knock him out in the first and second round. Jared Bandera is his main way of winning the fight. Keep the fight at range, use a height, and use that reach and jab, straight right, leg kicks as well, but and try to win the decision. I think if Jared Bandera were to win the fight, it'd probably be by decision. Just jabbing him up and using that reach, using the high, 1-2 combinations, and then using his leg kicks as well. But I don't see the fight going all the way. If Jared Bandera were to win the fight, it would be by decision, but I don't think the fight will go all the way. The pressure and the volume and the power of Justin Tafa, the speed of Justin Tafa, is going to be way too much. So, yeah, I'm going Justin Tafa 100% to win the fight. My KO and TKO in the first and second round. Should be a banger of a heavyweight fight. I really hope it goes all the way. And we see a similar fight to Carlos Felipe and Justin Tafa, but that's a good fight right there. I cannot wait for that fight to happen right there. But we have Shann and Carla Esparza. Before I go on to the breakdown and the prediction right here, we gotta look at the betting odds, because I was really surprised with this. Minus 115 for Shann. It just completely went like this. I mean, minus 160 for Shann, all the way up to minus 115. Incredible value for Shann right there. I think for sure, in my opinion, I have Shann winning the fight, and then at minus 115, and that is amazing value. But every single one of her wins inside of the UFC coming by decision. I believe she only has like 2 or 3 knockout wins on her record. Let's see right here. So 5 knockout wins, all outside of the UFC, way at the beginning of her career. Again, 0-1, 0-0, 0-1, all those type of fighters. But once she joined in the UFC, we got a lot of decision wins. So if you're gonna bet on Carla Esparza or Yan Xiaonan, it would be by decision. I mean, this fight's gonna go all the way, 100%. So I'd probably go. Let's see if we can find it. Yan Xiaonan wins by decision. Oh my, amazing odds. Plus 150 for Yan Xiaonan, winning the fight by decision. Amazing value right there. But either way, straight bet on minus 115. Oh my god, minus 115. They just changed that. But minus 115 on a straight bet for Yan Xiaonan, or just a straight bet on the prop bet for Yan Xiaonan, winning by decision at plus 150. Amazing. I mean, both of those bets are really good bets to make. But Yan Xiaonan, amazing striking, 5 knockout wins. All the rest of her wins coming by decision. Inside of the UFC, has done absolutely amazing. 5 decision wins in a, or sorry, 6 decision wins in a row over Ricardo, Angela Hill, Carolina Kowalkiewicz, and then Claudia Gadelha right there. She wants this fight to stay on the feet, and she wants to defend all the takedowns, defend the wrestling, the grappling, everything like that from Carla Esparza, and keep this fight in the striking game and win the fight most likely by decision. I mean, you look right here. I mean, everyone thinking the fight is gonna go all the way, including myself, and the fight will go all the way, 100%. But we gotta look at Carla Esparza because she can go out there and kind of implement more of a she's gonna implement more of a Derek Brunson strategy, going out there and kind of laying and praying with a little bit of ground upon here and there, trying to get in the guard of Yan Xiaonan and just ground upon it. I mean, there's been points where I just see Carla Esparza go into the guard. I mean, the ref is going kind of increase the volume or kind of try to improve your position. By Carla Esparza, every single time she hears those claps from the ref, she just starts ground pounding a little bit, and then she just lays there. I mean, I guess it's a strategy. I don't really like the strategy of just laying on Yan Xiaonan and just ground pounding a little bit here and there, but it's a strategy nonetheless, and she could just go out there and just wrestle and grapple for 3 straight rounds and grind a pound for 3 straight rounds for the decision. That is a very good possibility for Carla Esparza to win the fight. I don't know. I don't really like the strategy of Carla Esparza, but it could be a good way for her to win right here. But Yan Xiaonan 100% wants this fight to stay on the feet. She will be 4 inches taller right here. Same reach, but still 4 inches taller than Carla Esparza in the fight, which is a good advantage in the striking game. Obviously, the fight will go all the way. Really good takedown defense and accuracy of 75%. So that would be a really good thing to have facing a girl like Carla Esparza right here. Definitely gonna have the striking advantage. So much volume and pressure striking from Yan Xiaonan with 63% striking defense, and then 6.5 strikes that landed every single minute. Really fast striker, really good combinations. They're really good at range, just attacking that lead leg of Esparza with calf kicks, the body kicks as well, and then that 1-2 combination, and then just so much volume. I mean, 6.5 strikes landing every single minute. When Yan does get taken down, she's not the type of girl that Carla Esparza is used to. When she does get taken down, immediately she gets her back to the cage and tries to get right back up to the striking game. She's not gonna accept the bottom position. She's gonna try to get the fight back up on the feet. And that's a really good thing to have against Carla Esparza. I think ultimately we will see possibly 3-4 minutes of total control time on the ground from Carla Esparza. There will be some takedowns, or there will be some wrestling, some grappling, and some ground pound for Carla Esparza. But overall, I do think that Yan Xiaonan will have an incredible striking advantage, and overall, for the most part, keep the fight in the striking game, where she will have the advantage. So, I think there is that way that Carla Esparza does what I'm saying right here. And she does have 3.5 takedowns every single fight inside the UFC, but I just don't see it. I think Yan Xiaonan has good enough takedown defense, good enough scrambling abilities, good enough ways of getting right back up on the feet, and her striking is way better than Carla Esparza. So my prediction for the fight is gonna 100% be Yan Xiaonan winning the fight by unanimous decision right there. Again, as I said at the beginning of the video, I definitely am going Yan Xiaonan, and I do like the odds of minus 120 and below. Anything like that is a really good value on Yan Xiaonan. And then obviously the minus, I believe, plus 4 or plus 150 for Shannon winning by decision right there. Amazing value. So I think either way, Yan Shannon by decision or just a straight bet on just Yan Shannon winning the fight are both some really good bets right there. But I'm 100% going Yan Shannon winning that fight by 30-27 unanimous decision. But Rob Font and Cody Garbrandt in the main event right here. It's going to be really interesting in the bantamweight division. Rob Font and Cody Garbrandt. I mean, Cody Garbrandt on a 3-fight losing streak to Pedro Munoz, TJ Dillashaw, and TJ Dillashaw again, all by knockout in the same exact way. When his back is to the cage, and he's just winging shots, getting clipped with that right hand from TJ twice, and then from Pedro Munoz against the cage as well. We saw the same tendencies from Cody Garbrandt in the Rafael Assunção fight, where he was back to the cage, and then he just winged out that right hand, and luckily for him, he was the one that landed that right hand. If Rafael Assunção did land that right hand, he could have knocked out Cody Garbrandt. So that's one thing I don't like about Cody Garbrandt. He's too reckless. He is way too reckless. Rafa will have oh my god, an incredible reach advantage, 71.5-inch reach, a 6-inch reach advantage over Cody Garbrandt. Absolutely insane. That is going to be a humongous factor in Rob Font winning the fight right here. Surprisingly, he is older than Cody Garbrandt. He's a little bit more experienced than Cody Garbrandt as well, being 33, almost 34 years old right there. But 18 wins and 4 losses. You look way down here. 8 knockout wins, 4 submission wins, and 6 decision wins. I'm going to say it right now. With this fight with Cody Garbrandt and Rob Font, KO, TKO, first, second, or third round, whatever the case may be, this fight is going to be a knockout. This fight is going to be a TKO. One of these two guys is going to go unconscious. It is pretty obvious, but Cody Garbrandt, lots of power in his hands as well. Second round knockout win, first round knockout win, first round knockout win, first round knockout win, third round knockout win, and then a buttload more knockout wins on his record, with 10 knockout wins and 2 decision wins right there. Again, this fight's going to be a knockout. It's pretty simple. One of these two guys is going to land on the other guy and get the knockout right there. But Rafa also very powerful. I mean, 71.5-inch reach. I'm surprised. How is your reach that big for the bantamweight division? I mean, that is just absolutely insane. But 6-inch reach advantage, a really good advantage to kind of put out that jab every now and then in the fight as well. His biggest disadvantage in the fight would be the wrestling and grappling defense. That could be one thing for Cody Garbrandt to kind of go after in the fight. I believe it's a D2 or D1, one of the two. I believe he wrestled and grappled in college as well, but 1 second. But Cody Garbrandt did wrestle and grapple in college, I believe, in D2, so he could implement more of a wrestling and grappling game plan in this fight. With Rafa and just try to get the ground and pound, try to get the decision win, or whatever the case may be. But I think the main way he's going to utilize that wrestling and grappling would be at the end of the rounds. I mean, if the fight is going to go all the way, and we do see the judges' scorecards, however unlikely, there is still that possibility that can happen in the fight. If the fight does go all the way, Cody Garbrandt, after every single one of the rounds, in really close competitive striking fights, can just end every one of the rounds with a double leg takedown and kind of secure the round. That could be a thing for Cody Garbrandt to do in the fight. Just end every single round with a double leg takedown, which will be a really good weapon for him to use in the fight right there. But that's Rob Font's probably his biggest weakness. We saw in the fight with Marlon Rice, he kind of struggled with the wrestling and grappling with Marlon Rice until eventually he got the fight back up on the feet and then ended up knocking him out, obviously. But that's probably his biggest weakness in his fights. But he does throw a lot of volume, 5.2 strikes landing every single minute, 42% accuracy rate as well. Really good reach advantage. Just gonna jab, 1-2, over and over again. I really don't know. I don't know, guys. Who's going to have the front foot in the fight? I'm really unsure of who's going to be the one moving forward and who's going to be the one moving backwards. I really don't know in this one. They're both really good strikers. They both like to be the one moving forward, but I don't know. I don't know who's going to be the one moving forward or who's going to be the one moving backwards, but Rob Font, if he can get Cody Garbrandt to the cage and be the one moving forward, get Cody Garbrandt to the cage, and kind of make Cody a little bit more reckless, like he's shown in his last 4 fights, the Rob Font can potentially use that reach and come in with an overhand right or just a straight right hand, potentially do exactly what TG did twice, and then Pedro Munoz did in the second to last fight. So that could be a way for Rob Font to get the knockout right here. Just get Cody Garbrandt to the cage and then land a big big, powerful right hand. So that could be a way for him to get the knockout in the first, second, or third round, whatever the case may be. I think he needs to be the one moving forward. I'm gonna say it right now. If Rothwell is the one moving forward, I'm going Rothwell by knockout in the first, second, or third round. But never count out Cody Garbrandt. I mean, you look right here, 4 fights with I put TJ Pedro right there, but TJ Dillashaw, Pedro Munoz, and then Javier Dos Santos. But he needs to become way less reckless. I mean, every single one of those 4 fights with TJ, with Pedro, and with Santos, every single time his recklessness was the main way he ended up losing those fights. So if he's a little bit less reckless in this fight and plays more of a patient counterpuncher type of role right here, I think Cody Garbrandt will have a really, really good chance of actually winning the fight. But you just never know. You never know which Cody is going to come into the octagon. If he's going to be patient or if he's going to be really, really reckless. You really don't know. 100% takedown defense and solid wrestling offense from his own. But he could use that wrestling at the end of every one of the rounds. If the fight goes all the way, he could use those to win the fight by decision right there. But if we see more patient Cody, I'm probably going to go Cody Garbrandt to win the fight by knockout in the first and second round. But I don't know. Every single one of his 4 fights, his last 4 fights, he's too reckless, man. He's too reckless. But if he needs to attack the legs early with Rothwell, because if he can attack the legs in the first and second round, if the fight does go to the third, fourth, and fifth round, that will start to pay dividends in the later rounds with the high end reach of Rothwell in the fight right here. Solid cardio in the later rounds as well, being in a couple of 5-round main events. I think there is a little disadvantage for Cody when he throws a calf case. Font does have some really good check. He does check the case very, very well as well. And considering the high end reach of Font, when he's going for those leg kicks, Cody kind of leaves his hands a little bit lower right here. And when you do that, when you got a really, really long reach and you're getting kicked with a calf, you're just gonna go for that straight right hand. And every single time when Cody is gonna go for those leg kicks, Rothwell is just going to go for that straight left hand down the middle, down the pipe, and it's going to be a really, really good opportunity for a lot of strikes to land for Rothwell in the fight. Again, I think he's going to need to wrestle and grapple a little bit in these fights. Kind of do what Marlon Rice did in their fight, but I just don't know. It's a close fight, a 50-50 fight in my opinion. I believe the odds should be -110, -110. That's pretty much where the odds are right now. So -107 for Rothwell, and then +104 for Cody Garbrandt. Really, really close fight. Could go either way. Either way, the fight will be a knockout. I mean, it's pretty obvious that is going to be what's going to happen right here. But Garbrandt by knockout. Let's see if we can find what those odds are. Let's see, I believe it's up here. So Font wins by KO or TKO +165, and then Garbrandt wins by KO TKO at +200. So I think either way, if you're going to be betting on Rothwell and Cody Garbrandt, just bet on either one of them winning the fight by KO or TKO, because that's exactly what's going to happen. Other than that, I probably wouldn't put a straight bet on either guy winning the fight, considering it's just so close. It only takes one punch to kind of change the trajectory of how this fight will be playing out. But Rothwell will have the reach advantage if he pressures Cody Garbrandt against the cage, and we have reckless Cody in terms of he's going to be going with those big whooping shots and kind of not really defending his chin. I will be going with Rothwell to win the fight by knockout in the second or third round. But if we have patient Cody, I will be going with Cody to win the fight by knockout in the first or second round. But that's a tough thing. I'm doing the predictions here, but you never know, man. You never know which Cody is it gonna be. Is Cody gonna go out there and is he gonna look really, really patient, or is he gonna go out there and look really, really reckless? We'll see on Saturday. I mean, it's gonna be a really, really close fight. I'm gonna go Rothwell. I don't know if Cody Garbrandt has changed those tendencies, being really, really reckless in the clinch and in the pocket, with a guy like Rothwell who has so much power in his hand. So I'm ultimately gonna be going with the slight favorite in Rothwell to win the fight. Go in the second or third round. But overall, it should be a really, really good fight. Again, it could go either way. Cody Garbrandt could definitely get the knockout, but should be a really, really close fight right there. But I am going Rothwell to win the fight by knockout in the first or second round.